Hi there everybody, this is David, and I'm just going to be putting this out there. I don't typically like mobile games. I know there's like a stigma behind them, and I know that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I just can't get past it. However, seeing as Dragon Quest Smash Grow is Dragon Quest, I did feel obligated to come on and check it out and see what it's all about, and let y'all know, is this game good or not? So that's what I'm here to do today. Give y'all like the quick and dirty, the long and short of what Dragon Quest Smash Grow is all about, and I definitely do think that's worth a sub as you come and join my party and you level on up with me. With your sub, your like, and your brand new hype, it helps me out a ton, so thank you so much for that. And now, let's go ahead and get knee-deep into Square Enix's latest mobile offering. Normally, before I start up a mobile game, I go into it thinking, okay, I'll just play this thing for maybe a half an hour or an hour or so, and I'll see what it's all about, and then I'll just go back and report back to you. That's why they're all called first impressions, because I just kind of can't really be bothered with it. I go in with this preconceived notion that it's going to be trash, and yeah, there have been some exceptions to this rule, like Sword of Convalaria, Final Fantasy Dimensions, Opera Omnia, and Goddess Order. Those are all pretty good. And I've gotta say, after playing through this closed beta and getting to the end of it after 15 or so hours of playing it straight, I can tell you that yeah, this here is an exception to this rule. This is not your typical mobile trash. This is actually a pretty cool game, and it's Dragon Quest too, so hey, that's awesome. So no one is happier than I am to report that to y'all. I love to see Dragon Quest succeed. So first things first, you've got to know, this is not a turn-based game, this isn't like a world map sort of thing, so if you're coming into this thinking that it's like traditional Dragon Quest, you're gonna be disappointed. But if instead you're just kind of looking for a good fun time, then I do think that you will find that. This here is much more akin to an action RPG, kind of like a Monster Rush or a Boss Rush or a Dynasty Warriors sort of thing. And in that way, it kind of reminds me of Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai, simply because you have 3 different party members here, and it kind of goes storyline sequence, action sequence, storyline sequence, action sequence. But whereas Adventure of Dai was a little bit bare bones, there's actually quite a bit under the hood here. But also, do not think that this is some sort of idle game either, because it's not. I mean, there is an auto battle feature, but man, it is brain dead stupid. It's only good for if you're going to a stage that's 10 levels or so beneath you. If you really want to succeed, you're gonna have to control your party members because the auto battle is so freaking dumb. They'll use their coup de grace on one enemy instead of 20. Or you could be on your verge of death, and instead of stopping to break open a barrel and look for a medicinal herb, it'll just go flying straight on through and run into a poisonous swamp and kill themselves. It is brain dead. It's the stupidest auto battle I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you want to go anywhere with this game, you're going to have to control it yourself. And it does play like any other action mobile game where you run around, you fight enemies, you get experience points, you gain gold, you're leveling up, you're collecting treasures and memories at the end of each stage. But because it is mobile, you don't actually fight or swing your sword with a button press. You just kind of get into the vicinity of the enemy and then you automatically attack. And each job class and each weapon has its own range depending on what you're using. The spear will attack directly in front of you and it's really long. The whip will attack all around you with its, range and all that, but it's not very powerful. And then the sword does a little swingy thing in front of you, which is kind of the average weapon as well. Your first 2 strikes will deal pretty basic damage, but your 3rd strike in the combo will deal really powerful damage. But in order to get to that 3rd strike, you have to stand still, because it's standing still, 1st strike, 2nd strike, boom, really powerful 3rd strike. So you do need to make sure that you're a decent distance away from the enemies so that they can't hit you while you're waiting for that really powerful 3rd hit to come in. Also, a lot of the monsters, especially the boss monsters, will kind of telegraph the attacks beforehand. Whether that's a hammerhood doing a ground pound, or a golem charging away at you, or a bodkin archer shooting its bow, you will know what they're doing beforehand with the telegraphing, so you need to either get out of the way, or wait that split second for that 3rd attack to go in, and then just run like a bat out of hell. Then there's smashes, which is essentially your coup de grace or your limit break. The more you hit the enemies, and the more that you get hit, the more your overdrive or coup de grace gauge will go up, and then each of your different characters has access to a different overdrive ability, whether it's shooting a sword out in front of you, healing up the entire party, or dealing a whole lot of damage to everybody around you. you'll like smash these little enemies to smithereens and gain more treasures and more blessings. So, what are blessings? Basically, as you fight, these little blessings will appear, which are like bonuses that you can get, but they only last for that one stage that you're on, and they do not carry over to the next. Well, you will normally retain like your level and your equipment and your memories and everything else. You do not retain blessings. It's like a roguelike sort of thing. They're like little extra powers that you get whenever you defeat enough enemies. You'll get things like orbs rotating your guy, dealing damage, a sword of Damocles falling upon your enemy and smashing him, vampiric life-draining attacks, piercing enemies that fly through enemies, traps that they can lay and then fall into. There's just all sorts of different things that these blessings can really do, and they will help you out a ton in the final boss encounter at the end of each level. But again, they do reset entirely at the start of each level. Now earlier, I did touch upon memories. These are essentially accessories in the game. Remember how like monster medals used to drop in the Game Boy Color version of Dragon Quest III? No, you don't remember that? Only me? I'm old. Anyway, take my word for it. Monster medals used to drop, and they dropped in bronze, silver, and gold. And the same sort of thing kind of happens here, except the monster medals will drop and they're ranked E, D, C, B, A, and S. And of course, the higher your rank, the more powerful that monster medal will be. What's really cool is you can like combine together the lower ranked monster medals in order to create a higher ranked medal. So if you have like 3D slime medals, you can combine those 3 slime medals together and then get a C slime medals. And then you can equip it and it will raise your stats like an accessory. I think that they're called memories because they're like memories of the monsters that you fought, but whatever, they're still essentially accessories. And just like you can like combine these monster medals together to raise up your stats, you can also forge new equipment and increase the power of your equipment at the blacksmith. This will cost you some money, as well as like weapon and armor ores that you get by beating the stages. Now, this is a mobile game, so we gotta touch on the gacha. There is a gacha system here, but in my like 10 or so hours, I haven't seen a single store to purchase anything with any real money at all, which is really nice. However, I do think that the gacha system is based upon the stamina system. Essentially, starting each stage costs 15 stamina, and you have 150 stamina at the beginning of the day, and your stamina will regenerate slowly over time. But also, every time that you rank up, you'll regain all of your stamina points back as well, so it's really forgiving. And after playing through the entirety of the beta, I never had a single solitary issue with like running out of stamina. It was perfectly fine by me. I'd play it for an hour or two, I'd put it down, do some chores, make some dinner, whatever, come back, boom, I had full stamina, I was ready to go again. Also, each stage has multiple goals with it, as well as like a recommended level to attack the stage with. The goals are going to be things like extra bonuses that you get, extra treasures if you do beat those goals. It'd be like, hey, can you beat the game? Can you beat the stage in under 5 minutes? Can you beat it under 4 minutes? Will you beat this one specific monster? Can you get through the stage without dying? You know, stuff like that. And now I've got to say, normally mobile games don't hook me. It takes a lot for a mobile game to actually capture my attention. And some of you might think, you know, oh, he only likes this game because it's Dragon Quest, and yeah, I mean, guilty as charged. Dragon Quest was what got my attention in the first place. But, you know, what actually kept my attention for the next 10, 15 something hours was the good gameplay. That it was fun. It was genuinely fun. And at the end of the day, that's all I want my games to be. I play these games to have fun, and it was. This game was definitely fun. So now I do want to hear from y'all. What do you think about the game, and are you going to be playing it whenever it releases publicly? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.